Throw Down. I'm here with Jess and Carmen, and Jess is gonna show us a new skill, at least to me, I've never done this before, a new skill today, and then we're gonna be challenged to try it ourselves.
Well, today we are going to make planters with attached drainage trays. I prefer to do this way because I do not always like having to make a plate to go underneath my planter. If I can get away with just making a little extra flange and saving some of that clay, that's what I'm about.
And you gotta have the drainage holes.
Oh yeah.
You gotta, yeah. People need to stop planting things without drainage holes.
This is important. I don't have a lot of plants, but I've learned this much. All right, we're gonna give a little center. When I went to NCECA, I learned that this is a really nice way to center, to dig my elbow. Yeah. And that has helped me a lot on larger amounts of clay.
Was it at whose workshop was that? Was it the throwing paper?
It was Sandra Elder. Yeah, and
there.
it was a fun one. So we're just gonna cone up and down a few times until I trust it. Coning up is important for a few reasons. It's kind of a little bit of what wedging clay does, in that it kind of prepares your clay, kind of like when you stretch before a workout. Getting your clay prepared for what's about to happen, because it's really going to change shape. But also to get rid of some of those naughty air pockets. Nobody likes those. All right, so I'm going to push this clay down into a flatter mound, kind of where we just were a moment ago. And I am taking my left hand and this part of my palm, which these are like the greatest parts of the tools of my hands. And I'm putting a little pressure here on the back end. And then I'm taking this part of my right hand and pushing primarily here. And that is helping me flatten this out a little bit. And this is probably going to be my opening position. The way I like to center is I like a lot of guides, a lot of places to hold my hand steady. I kind of put my hand in this little pointer position. She's looking good to me. We're gonna fire away. Ooh, did you hear that?
Yeah, that pop.
Yeah, got a nice little air pocket in there. All right, so I'm gonna test how much thickness I have at the bottom. Make sure that I've left myself enough space to add this tray in here. We've got about that much space. I'm liking the way that looks. So we're gonna go ahead and stretch out from there. I noticed that you opened up with the sponge and it was fast and delightful. I do not open that way. I move a little slower. This is where things tend to go wrong for me. So I take a little more caution here, maybe than I do with some other steps. And it's kind of how I open. I like to keep a lot of little guides, a lot of different places to kind of crutch my hands. So I like to keep my thumb behind the back of my hand here, and that just kind of helps me keep things together. So I'm just slowly opening this up. I'm gonna give the bottom a little compression with my finger. The compression is another thing we do to get rid of air pockets, future cracks. Something that happens a lot with these bigger forms is it will look fine until it comes out of the kiln, and then you get this big crack down the bottom, and that's always a telltale sign, more often than not, that you could have used a little more compression in this step. And instead of throwing directly from the launch pad, as I've heard,
Here we go.
I'm gonna leave a little extra clay down there and start a little higher than what I typically would with other forms, because I want to leave some of that clay for our little flange, for our drainage tray. So I'm going to use a sponge Make a little notch right here. Usually I would start a little lower, but I'm gonna leave some of that there. And we're gonna do a pool. A little compression on the rim. A lot of my pieces have real thick, defined rims, and I like that. Another little pool. We're gonna start off kind of cylindrical, kind of like a, you know, like an egg. I feel like a lot of planters, when I see people make these with the attached drainage tray, they kind of get to this stage and then this is kind of your final shape.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But I just like some things that have a little more flair, a little more razzle dazzle on them.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
I like a little flair. I'm gonna give this one more pull here from the bottom, and I'm really focusing on that clay that's right at the base, right above where I'm trying to keep that tray. All of this here. I'm gonna leave a little because from this point I'm gonna stretch some of that clay out. But this is the big thing here. A lot of the planters that I made to begin, I would say at least the first 30 were just what I like to call chonkers at the base. They were packing some heat. So that's something that I really focus on. While I like sturdier forms, that's kind of the one place where I'm like, man, I really want to move that weight because you can get a lot more volume out of there. And also shipping. It's nice when you can utilize all of the... See, it's nice when I don't feel like I'm shipping heavy planters. So this rib is my favorite. Some ribs are bigger, you know, like I think you have one in here. I like this for some things, but this one just fits in my hand better. I like that I can just...
Is it plastic? Is it one of those plastic ones?
It's wooden. It's just rounded all around the edges. Gino gave it to me. I don't know if he meant for me to kept it, but I still have it.
Thanks, Gino.
Thank you, Gino. So I'm going to hold this tool right above all this clay we've kept down here, and that's gonna again be the drainage tray. But I'm gonna hold this right above that, and this angle is gonna be the desired angle of the base I'm about to make. So I'm gonna hold this here, and then my inside hand is gonna drag that clay along the rib. And this is how I'm stretching all that clay at the base while making something a little more flashy, I think. So you may not see too much happening different on the outside, but on the inside, we're getting some stuff done. I'm gonna take my finger here and make a little notch. I think my final shape always comes out some version of a spittoon. So I'm gonna take that and I'm just gonna gently fan this out.
Beautiful.
And that would be the primary shape of the outside. And then we've got all this clay we've left down here, and we're gonna turn that into the tray. The thing that happens to me the most is sometimes I don't leave enough. And I hope I left enough this time. You can use your wooden rib, or your wooden knife, I mean, and you can kind of make a little notch down here. And then use this to flip it up. I like to use my finger. But if you don't want to do that, you can do it this way. Or you can do what I do. Just stick your finger into there. Just kind of flip it up. And do one last little compression around this tip. And then my favorite accentuation, I like to call it the bubble rim. This is my chamois. This is my greatest tool.
I lost mine. No idea where that is.
That is my immediate repurchase. Because every last one of my forms, this is like a thing for me. Where I just push down, add a little bit of pressure, I'm kind of pinching a little bit, and then I'm gonna take my inside hand, fold it over to my outside hand. And that's my bubble rim. So this is the tool that I would use to put the holes in for the drainage. You would want to put it in at kind of a 45-degree angle, and it would be right around in here. So I wait until this firms up a little bit before I do that, because at this point, you just make a lot of mess. It gets, for me, when you have pieces this shapely, it's not always great to do this part at this stage. And that is my turn.
Wow.
Give me a beat.
You're so insane. All right, so you guys went to Nsika and you said you learned the elbow trick, right?
Yeah. So I dig my elbow in here and put my left hand in the 6 o'clock position, and then my right hand in the 12 o'clock position, and just squeeze forward. So like the clay has nowhere to go other than like where I want it to go. Like I used to teach it by the legs, you know, and get this way. But if you're not the right height,
I'm not the right height, and I'm on my tippy toes right now.
Yeah, right. So I feel like this works better because you can always hit this spot, you know.
I always make jokes that I don't have any upper arm strength, so I always relied on my weight of my body, and I just leaned into it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, in the most loving way, it's the lazy way to center, because you don't have to rely on muscles so much. It's awesome. Like, when you don't want to exhaust yourself, use that.
It's the smart way to throw.
It is the smart way.
Not harder.
Exactly. And then I always make the joke that now that I've got a big old chunky kid, toddlers, that I'm carrying around, I've got the strength to come out here. So depending on what my life scenarios are at, children, no. Show off my muscles.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna push it down. Make it come off and puggish.
I'm a very thin, I call it efficient throwing. I'm just lying to myself. I'm just like, if I am working this hard to center this amount of clay, I'm using every last bit. I don't want to lose it in the trimming stage, so I just like leave about a quarter of an inch usually, and then that's not good whenever I go to trim it.
She looks good.
Like
big old donut.
That's as far as I want to open it.
Yeah, and your slick volcano will lend itself here too. I do tend to get a little wide before I get narrow.
Something I noticed that you two do, I never do and I'm really bad about it, is you guys change the speed of your wheel all the time.
Do it?
Yes, you're
I feel
really...
like I only go on full.
And well, that's what I usually do. I usually just do pedal to the metal, but that's like sometimes a bad habit, because then I'll be like doing delicate stuff and it's going pedal to the metal like as fast as it can go. Oh, that's right, you can go slower.
My pedal to the metal is centering and opening.
Yeah.
You know, as soon as I'm going down, I'm like, I just want to like couple it. And then I slow it down a little bit because I like having control. I like having more control over everything. It's easier for me to count and find the rhythm.
Yeah.
I'm always telling students at UD I'm gonna write them a ticket if they keep going that fast.
All right, we're gonna make a shape out of this.
Yeah.
Oh, she's cute. Cute.
Already trucking. You've left a good amount of clay.
I feel like I did.
I personally also think it's just right. Like, that's gonna be really nice just to flare up.
Nice. Stop though. I'm really good at messing these up. Oh, I love that.
Me too. I like yours too. I like what we all did
I'm
here.
just saying.
I'm ready for the. I did.
Awesome.
I left a lot of clay.
I did the opposite of what I thought I was gonna do. I don't think I had enough clay to do a plate, so I had a little tiny plate, but she'll do fine.
I like to trim these on the styrofoam, you know, like the foam head. If I can just set it there, and then if I have to do a quick little, it's a big tool, then like that little bit gets its trim, and that's it.
This was so fun. I love these shapes.
Cool.
These are awesome.
I feel like this is like a really challenging but like doable thing.
Yeah.
Yay!